had 4 windmill projects for NDOT, they usually give them a week. So that's just a number, but I've never seen it where they haven't told them, hey, we're gonna be in this area. They've given them more notice. So that 24 is a standard number, but if you wish to change it, you can. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I've just changed it to a week.
I would imagine, this is not talking about things that they know are going to take longer periods of time. I think it's probably like if they're just working in one section and they know they're gonna have a lot of equipment running in and out that on that road for that time, that would be an example of that.
Maybe 48 hours, it's 2 days.
48?
Yeah, I would like to go 48 just to.
I'd like 48.
Okay.
Just a general observation. Why with this construction and all that, for the solar panel, the windmill, should have a consistent requirement. It should be identical.
We'll have public comments for this.
I understand.
We're working on temporary proposal right now, and then when we get all the language put together, we will advertise for public comments, and then we'll have
I'm just
public
saying,
comments.
shouldn't be any difference. Restoration of the land, blocking of the road, all that should be the same.
It just says that once it's completed, then they have to provide the area plan administrator all the exact measurements that it ended up, making sure that what they said they were gonna do is what they did. And then, once that's approved, then they'll be required to record that, development plan, final development plan. They'll have to give notice if there's a change of owner or operator. Then the next part is decommissioning.
It's funny on this solar when the decommissioning is what we changed the wind to be.
Okay,
So if they started at 25, at 5 years they were at 50.
yeah,
Yeah. Shall be the same.
Right.
and 100, I'm guessing that they feel like the windmills would last longer than
I feel
possibly
like
the solar panels.
will last longer. We've had that one up there pushing 10 years.
Really?
We've only replaced one panel in 6 acres.
Yeah. Yeah, the 100% by the 10th anniversary. That's what that is.
And that's what we made the,
Yeah. Well, that makes sense then. I mean, if we follow the same. And it talks about if the project owner fails to remove all the systems, what the county could do within certain time periods. Gives them the opportunity then to go on the site, remove the system, project assets, sell those assets, remediate the price, and then go back after the original owners to recover any cost incurred. If it's abandoned, there's language in there with regarding if it's abandoned,
why,
how that is dealt with.
that 540 day come about.
And that's the state's language. That can be changed.
18 months and 7 support. That's 30 days.
It's the same thing. It's a year.
And then the last section, if something, a major natural occurrence or something that's nothing, no one has any power over, force majeure is what they call it, talks about how they're to be handled if something along that line would happen.
This might be a really stupid question, but how does the county know that they're not producing electricity anymore?
Somebody smarter than me is gonna have to answer that, I don't know.
It's a good question because it's
I
like
mean, you can have a
business
solar
that's
farm
on the
sit
road.
out there for 15 years and people drive by and think it's still producing electricity.
Well, I think you'd probably you'd be able to contact whatever power company it's hooked up to, I would imagine.
Is there a way to put language in there that we also need to know who the local power company is that's getting the electricity. It needs to be recorded, and then they give us a report, annual report.
That's hard, because they should.
Yeah, because it
It
goes all
goes
over.
all-
Well, I mean, can they give us a report, will they be able to give us a report on each of the farms?
They can
Or
tell you,
generate-
they can tell you how much each
Generation.
parcel
Yeah,
is
that's what I'm
generating.
saying.
Yeah, they can tell you that.
That way we would be able to tell if something's, one year we're all of a sudden looking at it and being like, okay, 1,000 kilowatt hours was produced, but now this year is only 500.
Yeah.
What happened?
What's going on?
It's either weather or they're less efficient.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got several factors involved. If you got a big drop in things, I mean, that's the Jordan's question.
Yeah, how do you know what's going on?
Generally, you got to store in a fuel cell somewhere too.
Abandoned for a year and a half?
Yeah.
I guess they can shut it down for maintenance and bring it back on.
Year and a half.
I think there needs to be some language in there for the county to be able to meter the electricity that's being produced. Just my opinion.
Okay, I wrote that down as a question. I'll have to see who I can
They have to.
contact to be able to tell that.
Yeah, because I don't even know if that's something that they have to give out, so, I mean,
Yeah,
But if the
If
county's
they
gonna
run
make
out of
something-
money and they're going bankrupt and they don't tell anybody that they,
right, that's one thing, but
Yeah.
to tell them, to tell each month what they're doing,
I'm not-
that's a business.
I'm not saying.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying some way to measure that they're still actually producing electricity on the site.
Right.
I don't need to know specifics behind.
Don't need to know the
Right.
detail, don't need to know the details.
So
just
how do
need
you
to
know if it's abandoned or not? I mean, it could be sitting there and not doing anything, but nobody knows any different.
Right.
Well, they could build it and be abandoned the whole time, not use it,
Yeah.
just basically a display,
Yeah.
so.
So what I wrote down is how can we find out if and when energy is no longer being produced from the site? How do we find that out? Okay.
They have to have 30 days
To disclose it, they have to just not do anything, they have got so many time to disclose it.
I think there's language in there that says they would have to notify you, but if they just, you don't know if they're just
Yeah.
gonna, if they abandon, that's the problem.
Right.
They're not
If
gonna
they-
be local companies.
I know. Yeah. Okay. So I'll make changes to these and get them out to everybody. Procedure for both of these is we have to publish first. And it's like normal publication, it has to be published at least 10 days ahead of whenever we're gonna have the hearing on it. You put language in there, you don't have to put the all the proposal ordinance in, but you have to tell them what it's dealing with in general terms, and then make sure they understand that if they would like to read the proposed ordinance, they can contact the area plan office, they can come in, or we can send copies to whomever. It will be a public hearing, and then,
So what's our timeline? All right, we're looking at, you're making the changes, do we vote on the changes? How soon?
That's gotta be, we gotta advertise it before we do anything, so
So
then
it's
we'll have to
gonna-
have, it's up to you guys if you wanna have a special meeting. You gotta have a public hearing, so after a public hearing, you can vote on it, make a and then it goes to the commissioners.
it goes,
So-
commissioners will be the final.
So we can have a
approval.
special meeting, or we can do it in the month of September.
I'll say, by the time she gets changes and gets it to us, we'd probably need 30 days for the 10-day notice and everything to anyway.
So it wouldn't be until technically the October meeting.
No, September.
September.
It's 30 days now.
Yeah, it was 30 days, yeah.
How far behind are we on the heels of these people that are coming in and poking around?
That's why we're doing it now.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that's what we're all talking, do you have a special meeting, is it that time frame to do something like that?
The one that was advertised, is that actually for?
That was
solar?
for, NIPSCO advertised that they're getting bought out, in essence, so it mentioned some language about solar and other things, so that doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't disclosed anything other than right now they're getting bought out by Gibson, LLC something. So that was in last week's Carroll County comment, so.
And they're wanting the road right of ways and stuff up by the dam,
Correct.
so I'm not sure what's coming
Gibson
down
out
that.
of southern Indiana.
I'm not sure, it was just, it said it, I believe it's southern.
There's a solar park just north of my shop, a mile and a half, they're trying to get 1,000 acres.
Yeah, they're here, they have a headquarters out at the old PNR.
That's good.
So I was going through doing some other things and looked over and saw several identical trucks and it said something energy. So that's why last year when I mentioned this, I said, they're here. And, you know, so that's why we're trying to get ahead of it. And I've had one of them stop the office and they're not trying to come in and do anything that's not right. That's what they've said to me. So,
That's Max Gibson, that's Gibson Cole, which is Peabody.
so anyway, however you guys want to do it, we got another meeting to get to. So however you guys want to do that part, just do the
Hearing next month.
do the hearing, next public hearing in September, and I'll advertise it.
Basically, we're just making these changes, right, and then,
Correct.
In public comment and then.
But then it goes to the commissioners after our.
Yeah, so
That's
that's
just a recommendation.
We'll advertise for the September meeting, that'll be the public hearing for this. That'll be the chance to speak. After the public hearing's done, you guys can vote on it. At that point, if it's approved, it'll go to the commissioners, and that'll be the
Which,
final approval.
which they would hear then probably their first meeting of,
October, correct.
so basically what this is just updating our current roads.
No, we don't have anything for solar.
We don't have anything for
but
solar.
We do have.
It's updating
It's
wind and
updating wind
energy,
and
but
energy,
it's
right.
brand new for solar, so yes.
Well, technically, it says wind and alternative. Would solar fall into that alternative?
We don't have anything at all right now for solar, nothing.
well, but
So
that,
the
I'm
wind
putting
and
it
solar-
under that general heading.
under
It's
that.
gonna
It's
go
gonna
under
be
that classification,
24-1 and this
24-1.
is gonna be 24-2.
So technically, it is just a change, right?
For wind.
For wind, in
Correct.
addition of solar.
For wind and wind.
Yeah, one's an amendment, one's new coordinates language.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
all right.
Anything else? Motion to
If you-
adjourn? Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, Cindy.
If you go through it more and you see something that needs to be clarified or something like that, get a hold of Cameron or I and we'll see what we can do.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Donnie, second.
Second.
Doug, all those in favor, say aye. Cameron, you got anything else for me?
I have nothing. Thank you, guys. Let me
Thank
know
you.
Doug did.
what changes, or like you said, we'll get going. Call Everett real quick.